Hello and welcome. It is the 13th of May 2019. My name is Eric. This is the Money Charts channel. 62%. That's what the percent number is for the dominance of Bitcoin versus the all other cryptos. All other cryptos 38.01. Not as high, of course. In fact, significantly lower. All bets trades are the like within each his own risk and their own reward. This thing has just been going straight up since its April 8th break from the 18 average of lows, and it's just been going up nonstop. You can say it's way overextended and it has to stop going higher. You could have said that back in here, then it went sideways. Then you could have set it up in here, but then you can start saying at 60 and it really hasn't stopped yet. Oh, it'll stop going up at some point. Weekly time frame. It's just breaking by this resistance barrier between 58.3 and that of about exactly 56.61.2. It's 0.82 higher than that resistance number now. So it's barely a clear break above. I'm not going to say this should move because of stocks and all the other ones. And when they break resistance, this is going to have a significant leg higher. But I'd be looking for about 68, 69, high 60s as its next key level. Or I wouldn't be surprised if it goes there. That's maybe another way of pointing that out as far as Bitcoin is concerned. Price action $7,425 and 60 was 65 cents, but the price just changed. In fact, when is the last time 60 cumulative seconds of time has went by when Bitcoin has not been traded by somebody somewhere? It's been a long, long time. Anyway, throwing that whatever point of view information tidbit, market goes up on April the 2nd above the 18 average or above this Fibonacci and multiple hit Fibonacci resistance. Because the first time, not the this isn't the first time here. This is the first time at this point. First time it came up to it because it was from this low. It resisted it, pulled back, resisted it again, and it pulled back. Then it resisted it and pulled back. Then it resisted it and pulled back. Then it came close to it, pulled back. Then it came up to it and stayed there for a few days. Then it broke it. We haven't seen it since. It comes up to this next Fibonacci level. It does not resist it. It gets above it immediately. The next day, it confirms it. It just bolts much higher to the point where it could have a good correction down and support where it was supposed to resist. It lifts off from that level on April the 4th. It hasn't seen that level since, although a couple times close. Has its little break. Tries to get above here. Not quite. Successful correctionary move. Several days of showing strength amongst the 18 average of highs. I'm still fascinated by this series of days, especially because of how the story goes out. A lot of drama, a lot of drama. It's almost as amazing as the NBA quarterfinals. Get to that after this, but market looks like breaking it. No, 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 because this was strength on the highs. Has this big red move down, and then it shows support in the lows. Oh, now that fast move from this has occurred. Oh, okay, I got you, I got you. And from, of course, this breakout of this level of resistance leaves the 18 highs on May the 3rd. Goes sideways for about 4 days or so. And then three good green candles up. One, two, three. And the third one takes us to the 18. No. It takes us to Fibonacci resistance. And resistance just means a probable level, a place to look for. And if you can successfully gauge, and I think I do pretty good at that, levels where we should have resistance, then what you're gonna find out that it usually will, and when it doesn't, oh, it gets wild thereafter because it usually means supreme volatility, fast move to the next level. The last time it wasn't fast, but this one is looking pretty fast in the early going. This just being three candles post getting above that line. And 13% up, 13.8% up, and then 3 to third percent loss the next day, and so far today up 5. Even the fact alone, big green candle up. Then you move that, but you have to have something good preceding it, like a good break go below it, which it has. So you have that green candle up. Then you have a pause-ish kind of day. And I like to see it with good volatility. Thank you, good volatility yesterday. And then if you have an instant reversal, bring it back. I guess some might say, oh, if it closes like this, then That's just good to go. I really get kind of irritated when people say if we get a close here, this, because close is just one of many spots. Like, what's the difference of 1800 hours and no seconds compared to 17 hours and 22 minutes and 44 seconds? It's an ongoing, non-stopping situation. That's why that gets to me. But whatever. What I'm looking for is a clear break above any of this established resistance, and I have to shorten out the time frame to show me how that plays out. And from what I can see here, this just makes it very, very, very clear for me. Because on the hour time frame, this 18 average has just been tremendous support. Every single time since this thing got going at 3 o'clock in the morning on April the 30th, or for the entire month of May, the 18 has been support or has had a failed breakdown below. Because there was a failed breakdown here, a little bit of a failed one there. Oh, yeah, this one in here that we just recently had. 9 or so red candles down. Okay, so now we go down 9. Then we make it up to the 18 highs, newly declining. Okay. Well, in this stage here, this is where, if we're going to be bearish, oh, it's common to come up here. And then you get fast reversal. You pause this day at the 17th snap. Last night at the 18 hour or 6 p.m. Eastern, it was just phenomenal. And then at about 1900 hours. Now, things were starting to pick up here because the Raptors were about to open up Game 7 of the Eastern quarterfinal against the Philadelphia 76ers. So there was a lot of people that was like, okay, this is big. This is going to be big for Bitcoin. So anyway, that's a 3-hour game. It's about a 3-hour game. So then the game gets going off, and the Raptors get off to an early start. So because of that, that gets the 18 average, or gets above the 18 average. And then roughly around here, something fantastic happened. There was 4.1 seconds left in a tie game. And sorry to all Philadelphia fans, but I'm from the Toronto area. 4.1 seconds left in the game. Game's tied. And the Raptors call a timeout. They have to inbound the ball in, and they give the ball to Kawhi Leonard. And it felt like 6 seconds had passed as he was just running around the court. And then he shot the ball. And I'm like, well, it felt like it was 6 seconds, but my eyes could clearly tell the buzzer went off and the ball had just left his hand. Okay, now let's see what happens here, because this is the game. And this felt like another long period of time as the ball hit the rim, then it hit the rim, then it hit the rim, then it hit the rim again, and it went in. So it took people several hours to digest the fact, but once all the replays on YouTube got rolling at 7 in the morning, because of that Kawhi Leonard shot, this looks really, really good to go. We have a green candle that leaves the 18 average of highs, and it's not even really a pause period. It's slow progression higher continuously from that point on. If we look at this on the, and what I want to do here is I want to switch exchanges because I want to draw on this. So let's go ahead. I'm going to use a Bitfinex one for this one. Let's do the best that I can to draw the 18 average of highs in. That was reasonable. Why did I do that? Because I'm going to shorten the time frame out. It's going to look a little weird and whatever. But to me, this was a very important time frame. So if I'm trying to gauge more of this information on a shorter term. Okay, so at this point, it was resisting the hourly 18 highs. It managed to get above it here. And from that point, it was holding its stand above this key level. And as it was starting to rise in here, it gets above it, but not able to break it. This time it does, and when it does, I mean, you can see this. You don't know if it's going to have this big move here. You don't know if even here it's going to have that phenomenal move. The volume did get monstrous here. That I'm noticing for the first time today. Monstrous, monstrous volume. Now what I like to do when I see big volume is I'm just going to scroll back as far as I can and see what I can see in comparison. And now this in here is pretty good, but nothing over phenomenally great up compared to this down move. And this is definitely pretty good, but nothing as big as this. Now, what I do, it is nice consistent volume, but no, I don't think anything too fantastic. But it has kept the market going higher, and volume doesn't pay. Price is in that of what pays. But yeah, it gets above this, off she goes. But as the story goes, I am getting what I mean, there was no way I could technically say, oh, this is what um, we're gonna see. But I'm seeing what I was kind of hoping I was seeing, even before the market bottom, even before the market broke down, for that matter. What do I mean by that? Well, I was talking on Nausea Among End about Bitcoin 3000, but one of the first stages that I want to look for before getting to that 3000, and I didn't mean this literally, was that maybe it's going to not go there. It's going to have a good breakdown below and then have that failed breakdown. Meaning, break below 6,000 of the high 5,000s, maybe go down, and the key word would have been to something like 4,600, 4,800, noticeably lower, and then just shoot right back up in a failed move fast, move higher. Well, failed move fast, move higher. If I'm to draw what it's supposed to look like, it has to break a key level, which is what that's what it is. And I know people watching my channel, I've talked about this a few times. That is a dysfunctional straight line. It's not a straight line. And after this, I'm going to answer a few comments from yesterday's videos after I'm done this. So there's that box, which obviously is a little, I mean, it's coming up towards here, but you get the down move, you go sideways for a bit, you bring it usually straight up, but a dysfunctional straight up line here. So that was one that was done that way. But you're not supposed to resist this level. I mean, you can resist it through time, that's fine and dandy. But what I really would prefer seeing is really a quick move into its congestion area, which means above this ish line of 6,500 and really trading in here. Well, that's what it's doing right now. So I'll see how the story continues to play out. Now let's go over some comments. And man enjoys lovely morning ride in trash covered New York subway train. That's not what I want to go over, but just some comments. Does anybody on Earth do this game with real money and report on a daily basis? I'm not going to say I invented this game. I mean, I literally did invent the spreadsheets and the black and white screen for the game. And I did come up with the idea, but I mean, I'm sure people came up with it before I did. I just haven't heard of anyone who did it. Derek, I presume you're working with NEM and GRS. Actually, no, I don't own any NEM, but I am working with GRS because you know this data will be performing well over time. Yeah. The whole thing is finding coins that are going to be successful, of course, for a long time. How would you decide to substitute one or both if they underperform? And I know it's a pain in the butt. I'll go over some of it later. I still have some of your comments written down on one of the spreadsheets, and I've answered them already, and I still haven't reported it. Sent your reply. Yeah, I'll get to it. And then I answered some of it. I'll get to it later. And just to save it, I put it on the spreadsheet. But um, well, if there's anything you see to get rid of it, I mean, an automatic delisting is an easy one. Uh, but for I mean NLC too, I was just unhappy with them, and I felt I have no physical need for their actual real type until September. And let's just move into something that I felt was a little safer, like Bitcoin Cash. For me, I like to have at least one coin that's got the volatility, because if I put like Litecoin and like Dash together, yeah, it's fine, it's dandy, but you're not going to have extreme volatility. So I'm trying to find the best that I can, and GRS and DGB seem to be, and now even Florin I like too, seem to be good coins, I think, that offer you some good volatility. But again, if there's any coins out there that should go up, and Theta I think is one as well too, with good volatility, that you think is going to go up, let me know. Or if there's any I'm talking about that are crap coins, again, tell me why you think they are. To all you traders, I've just built a Google sheet that makes three assets directly against each other quite easy. I was actually thinking not only about three assets together, but even another like juggling act of four. But I'm not going to talk much about it because I'm barely I mean, I'm just on the early stages of how I would do that. Anyone tell you that you sound like Big Gay Al? No, no one has ever told me that before. That is the first time that I have ever heard that. And then clock C again. I'm working on a strategy where Bitcoin and US dollar don't sit idle. Most of the time, I'll use an equivalent of NEM and GRS pair, and another such pair preliminary testing has been promising. Well, all my preliminary testing was promising as well, too. And very good for this one. Thank you, Mr. Esco. Man, that BTC is breaking hearts all around. Thanks for the tips. You're very welcome. Commentary from you in this video was great. Keep up. Keep throwing the witty banter in the. By the way, Bittrex has never had a security breach. No, they have not. And that's why I have to go back to the whole 1999, 2000, 1997, Steve Austin, WWE, don't trust anybody kind of talk. Because as much as you would like to trust and are forced to really trust people, you still got to expect the unexpected. But in a world needed to trade coins, Bittrex is a place that can get the job done. It worked out back in 2018 that because I was just using a lot of long-term trade orders into play, that I couldn't handle the situation of Bittrex. And thus I pretty much got off the site. I've been off and on lots of sites different times. Binance, I was pissed off at them because they made it so I couldn't delete all orders for one pairing easily and not all my other orders. So say I had like 8 orders on one pair that I wanted to delete. It used to be I could just highlight, just have a button click, hide other pairs, and then I can click delete all orders, and it would delete all, say if I had 8 on, say, like, well, Bitcoin dollar or whatever. But that's how that goes. And well, I've traded my trading strategy a lot of times where a lot of my orders can get changed because of market conditions here and there, or because of even then though I got some orders on LITECOIN that had to have been changed, and my buy order is getting close to expiring. No, no, no. My buy order I redid, and my sell orders. I don't remember. What was the case was I had orders that were getting close to being a month long. But when you see all of this going in here, I mean, LITECOIN first came back down to this 1,000 number back at the early parts of April. And I was even late getting back into that 1,000 number. Or did I sell here and then back into the 1,000? Yeah, something. It's like April 10th, all these days would go by. And I think I got my. Because I passed here on it, I got it back somewhere here, the 1,000. Anyway, yada yada yada, throwing all that side out. I orders are in place, ready to go. I'm selling near 1,400 next. A hair below. My buy order, it's relatively low. It's a significant break below this level of support. I wasn't even close when it came down to it. Okay. So then, with that being stated, all of these nice moves. We had this one here on this day. A whole plethora of ones before here. A few in here. You had this one, you had this one, we had this day, we had this day in here. We had a nice little move up and down here. Yeah, man, the early stages there. A whole bunch back here. But then you had a whole bunch where it didn't do anything. You had these moves in here. And when it got going on the early stages, it had those kinds of moves. That's why I got into this in the first place, was because of its sick volatility moves. That's it. That's the only reason, was because of its tradability. So now as I look at this in here, price action has been below this 18, declining it. And then this statement period here on May the 8th getting above it. And then the period on May the 9th having a pause period near the 18 average of highs. That was a strong setup. And now this is day number 4 of supporting in this area, supporting where it came from, and supporting that really even 1,000 number. So this thing to me is live, ready to go, or more probable to have one of these kinds of days where we have a little sick lines going higher. And if I happen to be live to a spot where I see, okay, and this is just most likely knowing me. If I see it's 1,400, I will get, and I see it's moving, I will be live, I'll be watching, I'll just keep on profit, I'll just Bitcoin cost average my way up. meaning I'll sell at 14. I'll sell some more at 15.40. I'll sell some. I'll just keep on selling. Every time it keeps going up a good amount from where I'll sell, I'll just keep on selling. And thus, if I start selling at 1400 and it goes up to 1900, then maybe I'll get an average of about 16, 1650 or something among that area. And if it goes up to say straight up to like 4,000, then maybe 5,000, then maybe I might only get an average of about 31 or something, but I'm still happy with that. And I know these things are just so volatile, they're going to have its up and down moves, and I just want to get as many trades in as possible for the highest percent volatility as possible as well. And I'll finish this off within the hourly term time frame of Bitcoin. Along the way, I had to pause the tape for 15 minutes or 10 minutes or something. So it's been more time allocated. I can't remember what time I started the video at. It's 10:37 a.m. Eastern Time for the next 7 seconds on my end. And it's getting close to this previous high now as the clock switches to 10:38. This could be a wild. This could be wild. I mean, market will do what it does, and I'm just a spectator, really, as it is, as I was for the great Kawhi Leonard shot last night. Sorry, Philadelphia fans and Milwaukee. Man, what a huge, huge rivalry. I mean, the Brewers and Blue Jays had a fantastic rivalry in the 1980s and 90s when they were in the American League, the Brewers. And by the way, they didn't. They were just in the same division. They were they just played here and there. And then they played last year in the playoffs and Milwaukee beat Toronto. Maybe there's some revenge there. I don't know. Thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day as Bitcoin has just broke 75. Take care. Bye-bye.